Good evening, this is Mr. Win bringing you Unit 4, Lesson 3b here, and in this lesson we're just going to continue practicing what we've learned about the definition of a parabola. So given the focus point 0, 4 here and the directrix y is equal to 2, they ask us to label any point x, y. So I'm going to label this point up here as x, y. So then the distance from that point to the directrix here is just going to be y minus 2. Notice that the distance here is really just going to be y minus 2, the whole distance from 0 up to y and subtracting the 2. So write an expression for the distance from the point xy to the focus. So my focus here is 0, 4. And for that one I can plug in using the distance formula. So I have d is equal to the square root of x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. So my distance here, d, is going to equal the square root of x minus 0 squared plus y minus 4 squared. Just plugging in my focus point and my label point x, y there. So now let's take a look at part D now. So taking a look at part D here, let's use the definition of a parabola to write an equation in terms of x and y so that we can solve for y. So remember that our definition here, P, is going to equal the set of all x and y such that the distance from our point on the parabola to the directrix, which was y minus 2 here, is going to equal the same point on the parabola to the focus point, which was the square root of x minus 0 squared plus y minus 4 squared. So if I simplify this here, I get that y minus 2 is going to equal the square root of x squared plus y minus 4 squared. So just like before with our last lesson here, we're going to square both sides to eliminate the radical there. So on my left side, and you can use tabular, you'll get y squared minus 4y plus 4 is going to equal x squared plus y minus 4 squared. And just simplifying this further here, I get that y squared minus 4y plus 4 is going to equal x squared plus y squared minus 8y plus 16. And just combining my like terms here, the y squared here will cancel with this y squared. And if I add 8y over, and I will get here 4y plus 4 is going to equal x squared plus 16. And remember that I do want to solve for y here, so subtract your 4, subtract 4 here, and I get 4y is equal to x squared plus 12, and just dividing out by 4 here, I get that y is going to equal 1/4 x squared plus 3. So if I plug this back into my equation up top here, I will get that P is going to equal the set of x, comma y, such that you get the equation y is equal to 1/4 x squared plus 3. So let's take a look at our last question here. In the last question here, they asked us to recall the equation that we derived in example 1, and they're simply asking what translation we will need to use on the equation we just derived to obtain the graph of the equation we derived in example 1. So if I rewrite the two equations I have here, in example 1, our equation was y equals 1/4 x squared plus 1. And that was just from the last video there. And the equation that we just derived just now was y equals 1/4 x squared plus 3. So if I sketch a graph of both equations here, my first equation in blue here says to start at 1. And my equation in red here says to start up top at 3 here. So hopefully you see it right away that the translation we'll need to obtain the same graph is just going to be translate down 2 units. Since they are roughly the same graph except for where they're starting, this one starts at +1 and this one is opening from +3 there. That's it for this lesson. If you have any questions, please bring them to class, and as always, thanks for watching.